Deutsche Telekom has held talks to sell its T-Mobile USA unit to Sprint Nextel. That is a deal that would combine the nation's third and fourth largest wireless providers. The sticking point is price. For more, we're joined over the phone from Baltimore, Maryland by Stifel Nicolaus analyst Chris King. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. And, you know, this price issue, do you get any sense that they're going to be able to resolve this?
Thank you. Good morning. Yeah, that remains to be seen. I think it was unclear, at least according to the initial reports, whether or not the talks are actually still ongoing or whether they had just had talks in the past. I think that, you know, certainly you look at T-Mobile USA's balance sheet today, they've got a little over $20 billion in net debt. So they're levered at around 3.7 times or so. You know, for a company that lost roughly 7.5% year over year on operational EBITDA last year, I think it you know, certainly remains to be seen what type of premium Sprint would be willing to pay for that type of asset with that type of both top-line subscriber decline as well as an EBITDA decline. Well,
you have any idea, Chris? I mean, I was asking a reporter who broke this story. Any idea how much T-Mobile could be valued?
Yeah, you know, again, you know, I don't. It's very difficult to say with respect to what Deutsche Telekom's ultimate ambitions are in the U.S., how desperate they are to really change their business profile here in the U.S. I would say, generally speaking, something in the 6 times EBITDA range would not be out of the question. There, but again, T-Mobile USA is not a publicly traded entity. It's solely owned by Deutsche Telekom, so I think that you know, certainly could remain a sticking point for quite some time.
Any regulatory issues to come out of this if they were to combine at all, Chris?
Difficult to say. My immediate answer would probably be no, but having said that, there would be some, you know, certainly regulatory issues in Washington that would come up. I'm not necessarily sure that everyone in the Obama administration would like to see us go from 4 national wireless carriers to 3.
To 3, yeah.
Having said that, you know, certainly I think that the wireless industry, you know, has been under heightened competition for quite some time. You do have the 2 weakest competitors, you know, trying to get together if these stories are indeed accurate, you know, trying to present a more formidable competitor to both Verizon Wireless and AT&T, which have been extending their market share gains over the last several years.
Could there be other bidders like Verizon or AT&T?
No, I doubt very seriously whether Verizon or AT&T would be allowed to buy, certainly of anything of any size right now in the U.S., certainly the size of either one of these names. You know, I think an interesting play would be what happens to Clearwire, which is majority owned by Sprint, as well as LightSquared, which both have 4G spectrum. Right now, even if Sprint and T-Mobile USA got together, neither company has 4G wireless spectrum, or at least you know, enough of any size to roll out a 4G product. So they would both be reliant on, you know, theoretically a Clearwire or a LightSquared for that spectrum, whose hand those assets wind up in could play a very interesting part in these discussions as they move forward.
And quickly, Chris, I mean, if they can't get this deal together, though, aren't there other options for Deutsche Telekom? Can't they IPO?
Certainly could. Again, that really doesn't solve the operational problem that they have in terms of losing subscribers and a declining revenue profile. That certainly doesn't help the U.S. wireless industry as a whole in terms of the major consolidation that the industry, you know, probably needs. But yeah, certainly from a financial standpoint, they could do that. They could team up with Clearwire themselves or perhaps LightSquared to get some 4G spectrum under their belts to try to remain competitive, certainly more competitive with Verizon and AT&T.
Chris, thank you.